Welcome to our live profiling Q&A session. A quick reminder of the risk involved with trading, that you always need to be mindful of risk and make sure you have a plan. We are, as we would call ourselves, fundamentalists. So there are technical approaches to markets, and and there are fundamental approaches. The fundamental would be, hey, there's more supply in crude, so prices should go down. We're behaviorists, so we use the profile as a way to see auction behavior. And just had something alert here. Okay, cool. Quick introductions. This is me. I'm Josh Schuler, the founder of Trade with Profile. Kind of had a track from being a retail trader all the way to having my Series 3 and working in the industry under RJ O'Brien. JP is with us also. Similar backstory, traded physical commodities, kind of our swing trading expert. And together we're kind of take traders through our process, which is what we call our trading development pathway, which is meant to just help traders build consistency in their trades. It's kind of like one of the first steps in trading is having consistency and knowing what to wait for. So often people will hear us say, hey, we're being patient. And the challenge is like, what are you being patient for? Having a process helps you get there. And we think about these three things whenever we're working through development. And this is how we continue to hone our approach to markets, and think it'd be helpful for you is one, to know the four behaviors observable in every auction and how to observe them, to know the 4 stages of auction competency and how to know which one you're in, and then to know the 4 questions to ask before entering a trade and how to answer them. When you get really good at those 4, you find that things start to make a lot of sense. So that's it. This session is for you. We're going to kind of see what the markets bring us. We're going to look at some trades that took place this week to review, and also kind of talk about what we're looking for today. I'm going to get my pin tool up here. If you have any questions, you can use them in the chat box. You can do it in the Q&A. And we've got a couple questions that we'll start. We always have some people send them in, so you can always send those front to get to the top of the deck. But we're going to look specifically to start at here's my pen tool. While we're waiting to see, I just need to reset an alert here real quick. 1 second. 5868.
And then while he's doing that, if anybody has any questions they want us to answer now, or just go ahead and throw them in the Q&A or in the chat box there. We'll get them. We'll obviously get to all your answers today, and hopefully be able to help you out.
Yeah. So one thing I am looking at right now, crude's back to the open. If they can get below the open, if we can eat more into the order flow here, I think we got a shot back towards 58.20.
Yeah.
So I may join the shorts there for this move here.
Especially when we get back below 58.40, I think it's a clear shot to the 20s. So.
Yep. Yeah. So let's keep a look on that one.
They may end up pushing this NASDAQ up to that 97 level, maybe even that 7,400 level, 7,400.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible.
Okay, so there's that crude.
Yeah, there it is. I think I want to see a candle close below that. Though. Cycle's probably already in this thing.
He's been known to front run a little bit. Well,
yes, he is. Yes. Matt has to go to therapy, and yes, I'm a front runner. Matt, there he is. Yes, I am. All right. Man, look at this thing run, go, NASDAQ. I don't advise it though. It takes a little bit of It takes guts to front run. I'm at my point in my career, I wait for confirmation.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So if you follow us on Twitter or Instagram, you'll see that I posted some markups this morning of some potential scenarios, and this is one of the scenarios, is that we would go, because contextually where we are in the equities is we're below, you can see this area of value up here. All right.
Confirmation right there.
Yeah.
That's enough for me.
Yep.
So I want to defend that open.
Mm-hmm.
If they give me a freaking chance. They slid that pretty quick through there.
Yeah, so we got singles down to 48.
Yep. Oh, come on, pull back. Oh.
So almost got those. And now the order flow is negative.
Yeah.
We're through VWAP, so yeah, we're looking good for pullbacks to join for that 26 area.
Yeah, 40 will be the first stop on the bus.
Yeah,
they'll test those low. There's sort of a overnight, they sort of ran this thing sideways. So, oh, son of a buck. Really?
So you can see the session volume, like there's volume coming in here on the contracts, and then this is actually showing me, whether are they hitting the bid or the ask, and so that this is a strong number. They're hitting the bid. So I mean, that's aggressive selling. Should continue. We see impulsive behavior like that should continue to lead to lower prices, which is why we are short. And we have a clear target here at yesterday's VPOC right here at 58.22. So we're defending, open and the current day's VWAP right here at 58.78, which is also the current VPOC. So we're kind of between value references, and we're.
Come on, pull back. Just a wee bounce would be nice. All right, NASDAQ has found a little bit of selling in there, not much.
So I was saying about the equities. So equities, where we are contextually, this is the most traded price of the well, that's not the most traded price. That is a price. Actually, if I go out here, you can see the 74.44 on the profile, 28.58 in the ES. So we're below. You can see they just run out of inventory as they've gone lower. Now the NASDAQ did get lower prices, although it did create some nice excess yesterday to support this activity higher. And then when you got Globex trading higher tonight or last night, that also kind of tipped the scales towards the buyers. What'll be interesting to see is if they can hold the open. We have a gap open here. If they can hold that open, there's an opportunity to move up here, which is a prior naked point of control. So kind of, I was looking for if they go higher first, do they fail and then move back towards 73.12? If they don't stop here, they could go here. The other scenario was that they would trade lower first, test this area, and then go that way. So right now, it looks like this scenario is the one that's in play. And so I may, I'll watch and see what happens if we can get to 92. You see similar setup here in the ES. If they get up there and then come back through the open, that's going to be a pretty good shot for us back toward 73.12 or 28.21.
You can see they're struggling to even bounce here. So when they decide they want to bend this over, they're going to on crude.
Yep.
I can't believe we can't get a little bounce here. Come on, boys.
Yeah. So good volume in that one.
Well, I'm going to have to wait because I didn't get that one. I didn't get the fill on it, so I need to pull back. Stock will private message me. Let me know what your entry was on that. I'm curious. You may be buying beers this weekend.
I got 62 on the break of that
Did
first
you?
5-minute low. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was back through the open. You had volume coming in. It was on another period. It was, higher volume back through the open, and they were pushing away from that current developing value. So
Yeah. Here they go. They're gonna run it now. Come on, boys.
we're trailing.
They're gonna screw me on this deal. Oh, Jed. Oh well. Won't be the last time I miss one. I can promise you that.
Yep. Okay.
Joel got 64. Nice, Joel.
Oh, this is good. Ken is asking us, kind of new to the style trade. Do you have any resource that defines the acronyms that you use? Actually,
we make them
yes.
up.
We do on. And I'll pull that up. I'll show you where it is. Okay. We actually have that on our website, but you kind of have to know where it is to find it. Or you know what?
Gosh, dang it, turkeys. That was one I was sort of waiting for, and I'm gonna sort of kick myself here. If we can get a bounce before we get through 40, I'll be good, but I don't think we're getting a bounce. I think the algorithms have got this thing short. Good job, guys. You're kicking my can already.
So Ken, if you go to tradewithprofile.com/glossary, you'll find that we have a number of these terms that we talk about defined.
We just make them up anyway, Ken.
All right, come on, Crude. Come on, Crude.
Bounce, Crude.
Almost
You guys
there.
are wanting it to go short. I want it to go long right now because I
Almost
want to get in. I'm too late, though. There's 40. All right, now if they can still bounce me in on this thing, I'll take it, but it's going to have to bounce about the 65 on here, and I don't think that's going to be happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing more selling.
Yeah, and it's just hugging that 5 right now, so, or 8, so. Sorry, I missed it, Josh.
Oh, right on the break. So this. So think overarching narrative going on here is yesterday was an almost limit down day. In fact, we were all talking about that yesterday. We were like, oh man, like it would be so awesome to see a limit down day in crude, because I don't remember seeing one. I mean, I've seen them in the ags a lot, but I've never seen one where you go on lock limit, and we got close. So I'm gonna take a scale here. We're close.
Nice trade, guys. Really good job.
Make sure I got filled.
Please don't tell my wife I missed that one.
So the very strong day. We gapped lower, lots of range extension, accepted lower. It's the seller's auction to lose. So just like in this 5-minute period here, where you've got impulsive behavior that should lead to follow through, an impulsive day should lead to follow through. So this is it's totally the seller's auction to lose. So when they opened inside of yesterday's range, so you can see Globex traded completely inside of yesterday's range. We're almost target 1 here, guys.
Yeah, Joel was asking about 58.18. Yeah, Joel, that 58.18, depending on where you're short from, is either scale or just cover at that point. Mm-hmm. So that's your choice. That's your choice on that.
I'm gonna cover and wait here.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
We tagged 20 because now, and this is the key reference for today. If we trade at below this level after the first hour and extend, there's the potential for them to keep running for Feb 57 and get new lows.
Yep.
But anyway, so balance overnight. That's accepting these lower prices. We push up off the open. Okay, so that now it is above kind of what I call my pre-IB bias level. So that could potentially be a shift to the buyers, but then they came right back through the open with negative order flow. So then you basically can use the risk of the high here and you know where they're going. I mean, you're coming back to test yesterday's value. So that's one of the things that's so great about the profiles. It gives you such a clear target for what you're looking for. All right, now ES, you need to get a clean touch up there at 43.
Yeah. Well, I covered in my mind if I was when I'm as I dream about being in this trade.
Yeah.
And so that, that brings a good point, guys. I missed the trade. So you notice I didn't chase. I'm pretty steadfast on my entries. Is there's an old, saying, I grew up in the country of Kansas. And so we used to watch dogs chase cars down gravel roads, and that usually doesn't end well. So when you chase a trade, the same effect usually can happen. So, I learned from my youth that I just don't, chase things. Of course, I've chased things in trading too and got my butt handed to me. So that has happened before.
So Ivan, to your question, yes, this is a volume histogram. This is a composite. So this is of the, it's actually a rolling 7 calendar day composite profile. So if I scroll out here, you can see where all the volume is above us. That's where we came from. And moves begin from balance, and then now crude's trying to balance around this area to try to accept these lower prices so they can keep going. In fact, I think that there is, I think I still have this loaded. Yeah, this 56.60 area. I think that's the place that we're heading. This goes from December of 2018, through where we broke from. You can see there's a big area of confluence right here in this 56.60, which we're pretty close to. So I'm looking for us to hit into that area. But yeah, this kind of, it's a good reference of kind of knowing where you're at, within a week. And all of these lines are either decision levels, and they're also structure that I just want to keep in frame of reference. They can become targets. For example, I can take one of them off here right now. We cleaned up this zone of single prints from yesterday's profile, so that's no longer valid. Okay, and we are at target 1, done and dusted. So risk on this trade. So enter on the break here. Total risk is on the highs. Here's the target. So little tighter risk reward than we typically like. The thing that improved the odds on this is that you're inside the prior day's range. So this is a type of trade you can have better odds in, and therefore have better expectancy. So that trade is done. Now, what's left today? So if we get through this first hour and we're trading below 58.23, and have not made new lows, kind of 2 trade ideas is, one, either to look for rallies up towards the open or even up to 20 to trigger short to get further into this area, or wait and see if they can get down into this long-term composite area today and fail back into yesterday's range to be long that way. So those are kind of the areas. That's what's kind of left for today. Oh, and the Pac-Man picture that you're asking about. So this is in window trade, this is called a proximity. Basically, it's just tell me, and that's for the current 5-minute period, how much is left of that 5-minute period. So it kind of closes in as the 5-minute. It's like a bar counter kind of thing. Okay, ES back below the open. Looks like they have negative delta. See if they can close the gap. NQ coming back towards its open. If they get back through the open, can close the gap, I could totally see a move back towards here. I'll probably be looking to establish risk for the short back towards 73.12, or towards 28.20. Yeah, that was a 5-minute that we used to determine risk and target. Yeah. Yeah, so this is so how I typically, when I'm not in a trade, I stay either looking at the collapse profile, or I'll look at the 30-minute profile. So these are 30-minute periods nested. This is showing contract volume and then the cumulative delta for the period. So a positive number is actually negative delta. A negative number is positive delta, because you're subtracting the bid from the offer, which is what gives you um, the negative. Man, they're pushing it now. And then once I get into it, there's an area that I like, then I'll go to the 5-minute, which this is 5 minutes nested inside of 30 minutes. So I can still see 2 time frames at once. And again, I'm looking at, contract volume. So, and what are you kind of looking for contract volume? So like right here, see how there's like 1,000 contracts down here at the bottom? It's not exhausted yet. They haven't run out of participants. So they're doing a good job of continuing to facilitate trade at these lower prices. And already, I mean, you can see first half hour, man, second half hour, we're above average volume in crude already. So there remains a lot of interest.
There's your 8. By the way, you just blew through 20.
Yeah. And we have a wider than average IB. So we have 85 ticks. We average 60 in the first hour. So how you can use that information is, hey, be careful. Be careful selling into a hole here. There's still opportunity. So, okay, see how it's starting to lose. They're starting to run out of contracts down here at the bottom. Like it's like 48, but then, there's hundreds that come back in. So as long as they can keep piling on the bottom, they're not done and exhausted. And then of course, this is the composite of contract volume for the whole day. So you can see they did 8,800 contracts up here, most traded. Now we're doing like 500 at a price. So, as we're moving lower, we're now 75, so like it's in the shortest term, potentially running out of participants. So you can use volume like this to help hey, even if I want to be short, I want to pull back into this volume first before I look to express around that. Yeah, is window trader the best for my style? I mean, I believe it is. What I love about window trader is it allows me to, I mean, they're just all these things I can see that I can't see in other platforms, and it's just really configurable. Now, if you like moving averages and you want to see like 2 standard deviations of the VWAP, I mean, that's that kind of stuff it doesn't support. But if you want to see contract volume and you want to see the structure of the profile, it's ideal. Absolutely ideal.
Okay, yes, making new lows here. So
yeah, Nasdaq. Would have loved for them to get to that 92 first,
Yeah. See if they can take it to the open here.
Yeah.
Guess we're at the open. Never mind. Sweet. What do you have as the open? I've got this wrong, don't I? Oh, I do. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, so let's go look at this.
All right, if we're below the open, we get below the open. We got some work to do down below, though.
Yeah.
Get into
And also difference here. So we still have positive delta cumulatively on the Nasdaq where we had negative delta in the crude. So the order flow is still positive to the buyers. This is not as good a setup as crude was. All right, I'm going to turn off the 5-minute here, and I'm just going to go back to just let this thing see how this thing can develop.
Okay, so let's just go through this while we're waiting. There was obviously we had a great crude trade for some of us, not me. And then, you know, guys, when you have a trade like that on a Friday, there's got to be a really clear trade coming up here. Or you just, especially before a long weekend, a holiday weekend, just you got to be careful, because what I guess you don't want to do is go home with a nasty loss and think about it all weekend. So especially if you have good profits coming in. So yeah, great. Agree with you there, Ken. On Friday, take the money and run.
Yep.
So the RISJ was how much?
Yeah, what was the risk in tick?
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wasn't in that one, so
yeah,
mine was 0.
We covered. So while we're looking to see if the Nasdaq, I want to go and review kind of the trade of the week this week. Was a trade in wheat that we were looking for, and wheat had put in let's make sure that I'm looking at the right. Yeah. So wheat had, here's last week's trade. Wheat above, and it was an engulfing big week, and they were one time framing higher. So when we say one time framing, and that's a vernacular term, is the idea is that value for each session. In fact, here I can go. Let me pull this up here in Slack. I can show you guys what this looked like. Here we go. So this was kind of the picture that we were looking at. Oh, shoot. Where you can see the value areas migrating higher every day. So we call that one time framing. So these 4 behaviors of an auction. So one of them is a move. So there was clearly a move going on here. And so what we're looking for is we're looking for behavior that comes into the auction that shuts off that upward auction. That can create some opportunity for us. And at the time, you can see there's a node here at 460.75, another one building out here at 477. Okay, and then when we get down here, you can see the next session, how this engulfs and shuts off the auction. So that's a form of shutting off that upward auction, which now puts us into kind of a balancing. It doesn't mean it's a turn. It just means it shuts it off, and now we have a range, and then we're kind of looking to see where that range is going to be. And based on the profile, we're looking at 468, potentially 460, definitely 477, and then up to 488. Now let's look now at where wheat is right now. It's exactly in that range. So this was the move. This shut off the move that sets the top of the range, and then we had the 468 area. We've got the 460 down here, and wheat is now playing in this. So one of the things that's so cool about the profile is it allows you to have some expectations, to know what to look for. And specifically, the trade that we took was what we call a based on the fact that we were above value on the composite. We had we had to move level down here at 460, but we also had a naked point of control at 468. We also had a naked point of control at 476. So we were targeting 476 first. And then if I explode this profile out, And this is where market profile is very helpful at determining structure. So volume profile is really helpful at looking at levels to be of interest. Market profile helps us determine structure and control. So what happened on that day was that we had opened above the prior range, extended higher. Okay, so that at that point it's still, hey, this is the same story that we've been on. We're keep moving higher. But then you can see here in D period they come back into the IB range, and then in E period they actually take out the low, and they did that with big selling delta and volume. So then, and this is more of a swing trade, having target 1 here, target 2 here. The opportunity was to use the high as risk, establish in here or on this break, and you're looking for the move here and here. Worked out beautifully. In fact, we got wasn't even expecting to get target 1. We got past target 1 the first day and target 2 the second day. So that was the trade of the week. But a definite confluence of, and that's where those 4 behaviors of and the 4 behaviors are that there's a move or the beginning of an auction. So an auction, like right now, we're resting, the auction's resting here where you can see the overlap from day to day. And it's come from a move. So there's a move, rest, and now this auction is going to test these reference points higher and lower and see if it can get any follow through. If it gets follow through, then that's the next move. If it gets out of here and tests back in, that's what we call a test. And that's essentially the 4 behaviors that we look for. It's going to be one of those 4. And so as you're building your plan, you're kind of saying, okay, well, what behavior is this auction in? And how can I use that to make decisions on the hard right edge of the market? All right, let's see where crude's at now. Okay, we've got IB low in crude. We have IB low below the key reference level for the day. We do have some singles in here. Okay, so IB low is a form of control. So there's seller control. It's confirmed by the order flow. So I want to find places that I can go with the sellers. So if I can push up here towards the open again, I can look for another push back towards 58.23. That's kind of the next area that I'm looking for some potential. This is the other thing that the profile can help you see is where there's these pockets in the profile that are not filled in. Often there's lots of overlap. Like look at yesterday in ES, yesterday in Q. Like there's overlap. It's not often that we get these holes, which you call them single prints in the profile. They represent impulsive behavior, but they also often rotate back in on themselves. So if I want to position myself well relative to value today, I mean value's here in crude. So do I want to sell below value? I'd rather see what I'd rather see happens. I'd rather see him spend enough time down here to migrate the point of control down here and then rotate up where I'm selling above value today. So see if they can, let's see how many more contracts would they need to do to migrate that down. Quite a few, because they had 8,800 up here at 5,400. So they had to dump 3,000 more contracts down here to make that happen. So these are the products that I'm looking to, to place a day trade in often. Other products that I look at, just kind of looking around the world to see, so bonds are an inside day today. Fat cattle are just kind of trading sideways. Russell's still, man, the Russell is such a leading product, isn't it, JP? It is just.
It is. It's all. I mean, it's cranking today. So.
I have actually been watching platinum, and let me show you kind of why my interest is in platinum.
This is the indices are really choppy right now, guys.
Yeah.
Long term, right now, they're just accepting above a decent support area right now. So for I mean, anything at this point, everything leans long at this point until we get back below that open and accept below that open. I haven't seen any sellers other than just a quick spike of sellers come in.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying, but they haven't been super successful. So
yeah. So this is a 90-day chart of platinum. So this is a composite of the last 3 months. So you can see 855 is, fair value for the last 90 days, and these are nested weekly profiles inside of a monthly profile. So I can see each of these months. Value for the week is at 814. We're trading below weekly value. We're definitely below monthly value, and we're climbing up on. There's a node back here that goes back to when was this? Back in February. And you can see overall, I mean, platinum is just kind of in this range. So what I'm watching also is this is the monthly VWAP, monthly anchored VWAP, and this is 2 standard deviations of the VWAP. So it's a good metric to have. A lot of algorithms interact and defend the 2 standard deviations, so they won't get below it, but they'll definitely defend it and can hug it, especially when targets or product's on a move. When it's on a move, you'll see the slope of the VWAP, and this is on any time frame, whether it's on a monthly basis or something more intraday. It'll be nice and steady, and you'll also know it's trending because you're not going to come back and test it. So anyway, I'm looking for potential interaction right around 790. See if buyers step in, for a move back towards 814 first, and then a move back towards 855. This would be a swing trade. This would probably take a couple weeks, but that's definitely something that I'm looking at. One other product that we had talked about that had run, we had defended this, was coffee, and so we had seen a big reversal day that was right back here. Was it when was the? I have to go back here and search when we talked about coffee.
we talked about the bean trade last week. So here we go. They're going to try to take out the. There we go.
We got equities selling.
They're trying to. They're trying to get below that open, so we'll see. They just may rotate around that open today. I mean, we do have a gap down below, which is very closable today. So the top of that is what, 27, which would be that, or excuse me, 46. So, right? Why do I have two different? Oh, that's right, 46. I'll be all right. So yeah, 46 is really doable. So I would suspect that they may try to do that.
Oh, come on, do it. There we go.
Crude went back to where it broke at 40, found some sellers there, just probably guys cleaning up crap up there. Man, that was I got to tell you, it hasn't been that easy on crude. This morning was a pretty good trade. So I'm disappointed that I missed it. But, one thing that you're going to learn in trading, and a part of what we really, I don't say preach, but we teach, is that, you're going to miss a lot of trades. Just sometimes they go away from you, and algorithm gets it, and there's just no coming back. And today the algorithm got this trade. And you can see actually, if you look at a 5-minute that we trigger off of, there was from the very top, you see that we topped out this morning at what, 58.98 or some and a couple pennies. And when after that, we took out the low of that 5-minute candle, which was like 58.87. And then we had 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 minutes of red 5-minute candles. That's an algorithm doing their work right there. I was looking for at least one pullback, and it just didn't happen. And that that is part of trading. It took me many years to do this. I did the math the other day, Josh. I've been doing this for 19 years now. Oh, golly, that's hard to believe. I can stand. Other than that, I've been married longer than that. And luckily I have a very understanding wife, and one who is actually a trader as well. So that helps. But you just have to understand and accept that you will miss trades. Now, I will tell you, you guys, some of you have been in here before and you've heard me say this. Josh, I think, goes and pukes every time I say this, but the bottom line is this: there is going to be a million more trades. And I say that not facetiously, but let's just say thousands and thousands of more opportunities for you. There will be easy ones, and there will be ones that run like we saw yesterday in crude, $4 worth. If you don't believe me, blow your chart up and go back and look at the history of crude. There will be many, many, many more opportunities like that. One of these trades are not going to make your career, I promise you. Right. Unless you've got 1,000 contracts on crude and you're hoping that it goes $4 in one day. It's not going to make your career. But I promise you, one trade can end your career.
Yep.
And there's many examples of that out there in the world. So be patient. Yes, I missed a trade. Yes, I'd love to have had that trade. That was a really good trade. I will be patient. I still got time in the morning. For me, I've got 2 more hours to trade for me. And if nothing shows up, guess what? It's been a great week, and it's going to be an early Friday and a long holiday. So come back on Tuesday refreshed. More importantly, have an account full of money to be able to take advantage of those opportunities that we learn here. Okay. So not only is it about the profile, but we talk about your mindset and how you should, think about your trading. What games are they playing out there? What games are you playing with yourself, more importantly? And how to be a trader, which honestly, in my opinion, if somebody says, what's the definition of trader? A trader is one who sits around, we wait, okay? And we stalk a good opportunity. And once we get it, we kill it, okay? Because let's face it, we eat what we kill.
Yeah.
And if we lose our knife and our gun in the battle, we're going to starve.
That's right.
So don't do that.
That's right.
Pretty choppy stuff in here on the index.
They're going to break one way or the other. We just got to. This was the thing that we were looking on the 19th. We saw coffee moving. It had a reversal day. We're looking for it to move back towards this 122 over the long haul. 103. There's also a node around 95, and see, we're up to 93 right now. Let me change this composite here. Clear. Oop. No, that's not right. That's not what I want.
They just put the hurt on these guys that were selling the open on that deal on the NASDAQ. Just sort of laughing at that. I have a feeling they're going to break it down here. I think these guys are going to wear out eventually here. So
yeah, Delta's pretty neutral.
Yeah.
If they take out IB low, good chance we'll close that gap. And again, we got that 73.12 to look for. But here's the most recent move down from 124. You can see there's that 103. This is a shorter term than that other chart. But we've achieved the first objective is this 93. If they can hold above that, then the next place to go is 103. So it's in process. Coffee's a better swing trade than it is a day trade for sure. It's just not very liquid.
Yeah, it is a very thin market. It's tough to trade coffee. Good to drink, but tough to trade.
Good to drink. That's for sure.
Hey, anybody have any questions, market-wise, product-wise?
Yeah, if there's a specific product that you like to trade that you want to have us take a look at and want to walk through the trade, that's awesome too.
Yeah, why we're crazy, I don't know. You just name it. I mean, listen, as a trader, you can't take yourself too seriously, man. That's something you have to do. You have to have a really healthy sense of humor. And if you can't laugh at yourself, man, you may want to go find a different career. I'm just saying, because there's going to be days that you just are like, what the heck am I doing? You know, but you got to find humor in it somehow. Um, Otherwise, it could be a long road for you. And I'm just going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to pull any punches on you. I mean, we have a lot of fun. We joke around quite a bit, and but in the end, you got to laugh about it. I mean, let's face it, we're traders, okay? We're not saving lives here, all right?
Yep. So let's Joe, want to look at corn. We're going to look at corn here real quick, and
Right.
I want to kind of give you kind of a so what kind of time frame, Joel, are you looking at this? Are you thinking from like a hedging perspective? Are you thinking looking for intraday opportunities? So that's one question to always ask is, what's okay, the product I'm interested, that's great. Then where am I looking for opportunity? Is it several months or more near term? So what would you say for you where it is? Both intra and long. Let's start like way long term here. Because that can just kind of give us a picture of because we can look at prices in the near term and go, oh my gosh, they are really cooked, and then we can look at a longer term and go, actually it's not such a big deal. Like if we look 10 years out, I mean, we can see that corn is traded $8.50 a bushel. Right now, in kind of the last 5 years, you can see that we're approaching we've been trading in a range from 340 to up to 410, and then we're looking at the July contract here. I think this corn is actually above $4 if I remember correctly.
And if you look at your weekly, the spike that we just saw, which was a pretty impressive spike, is right in line with what's been happening over the last 5 years. Look at the spikes that we see over there.
Yep. So I mean, this could be a move away from balance, and it could actually be a bigger move, like this move all the way back here in 2010 that that moved really just extremely high. I mean, there are a lot of fundamental factors that are at play in that, and this could be that. One of the things that I'd want to see is I would want to see when you approach the top of a bracket, you want to see tempo and volume push away from that. So you're going to get up here, and if you see more buyers, more volume come into that, then that's increasing the probability that that we're going to punch out of that and keep going. But until then, it's most likely that we're going to get up here, find rejection, and then you're going to start moving back toward the center of the bracket when you're in what's called a bracketed market. And we are in a bracketed market, on a 5-year chart, until we're not on that time frame. Now, if I go and look at more of where we typically tend to look for opportunities. Restore these cells here. And they're just fighting in the NASDAQ.
Yeah, something's going to break. I'm not sure who's going to win here. It's pretty neutral in my point.
Yeah, very, very neutral.
So for me, just I know you're going to get the corn here, but for something like this, guys, don't try to guess in the middle. We got to wait for a break and then confirmation, and then we can catch a pullback. Well,
yeah, they're definitely supporting that like 52, 53 area.
Yeah, on a higher time frame, that was the break area to the upside, so they're holding that. Now they break down below that, then watch out. But on a longer term chart, I'm still thinking they could rally this thing a little bit more.
Yep, absolutely. So that's why we're waiting in the NASDAQ, waiting for some confirmation. So if they can break below that 53, then we know that that's not holding. We can look for pullbacks to then press the shorts. But if they don't break 53 and they get back above 70 something, then
look out.
That 93 isn't in play.
Yeah, I'd be targeting 7,400 then at that point.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so crude or corn, engulfing month taking place here. You can see on the last 3 months we're above value at 378, which is not far away from that that long-term value around that 366 area. I am seeing that, we're up here, when we touch the extremes, kind of like what wheat did as well. We pulled back. So here's this is definitely a move. Well, a couple things that are interesting behaviors to watch for. So one is when you see an auction that's in balance, and we had been in balance for a while, we attempt lower. So when you see a market attempting away from balance, the question is, can it continue to do that, get acceptance in that direction? If it can't, and it comes back to value, an auction gets confidence that it can't move that way, and then it often will squeeze in the other direction. In fact, that's the exact behavior that we got in crude, in terms of what happened there, except it was reversed. It attempted higher, came back through, and then bounced. But now we've had this move. We've had enough selling come in to like balance. We're now in a balancing phase, and then we'll see. Could be that we get additional moves. This is definitely, this 394 is an area to watch. If we get acceptance below that, then that could take the auction back towards 378, 366. As long as they can hold 394, that could help them make a move towards that $4 mark and so forth. So that's kind of a overarching view. And then when I look at kind of where we are, I mean, we're just totally trading sideways. We're in the envelope. We're above value for the month. We're right at this. That's where this 394 is real important here. So it all kind of comes down to what's your time frame and what are you looking to do. I mean, this definitely looks incomplete to the upside. We don't have like a clean excess. There's a poor high here, and so even though they had selling yesterday, I mean, this is still the buyer's auction to lose. All right, we're still just dangling. They're just dangling.
Yeah, not doing much. And then while we're waiting here patiently, anybody else have any questions?
All right, let's see. Awesome.
We can answer anything. Well, almost anything. Quiet group. You guys might have missed a major.
You guys have had some good questions today. We got I'm seeing the 3,000 sell contracts at 399. So Joel, seen in the depth of market, 3,000 sell contracts at 399.
399.
Could see that in corn.
Oh, I didn't know what you were looking at. I'm like 399.
Yeah, 399 in corn. So I mean, here's our quick bit on dome. What you see in the dome. The reason we look at volume traded. So let's pull up a dome so we can see if we can see that 3,000 offer up there.
Yeah, I think Josh is going to have good things to say here. Go ahead.
So you can see this, they're 2,600, whatever. So there's schools of thought on what exactly that all means. I can tell you, it doesn't really mean anything. It's because it's like intent to act, but I mean, these can come in and come out just as fast. Algorithms can put them in, put them out, put them in, and put them out. So it's until we've actually traded. It's a little bit like the difference between economists who take surveys versus measuring behavior. So if the behavior is what's most important, which is what we measure in the volume profile, but looking at the dome and trying to guess direction based on we seeing, because it's just as soon as you see it there, then it'll be gone. And so don't lean heavily on what you see there. The better place would be to look at like your time and sales and just see what am I seeing coming through, and what are the what's the tape showing me in terms of behavior. Where's the size, like, oh, there's 18, a lot of one lots in here.
Yeah, and so in the old days, before algorithms, people used to pay attention to that. But there's lots of things like Matt had said, spoofing and stuff, which is illegal now. You can get fined for that quite a bit. And the reason they do that is because spoofing, the flash crash was because of a spoof. They were popping orders in there, and that was triggering algorithms, because algorithms look at that kind of stuff sometimes. So, but as far as what is it useful to you and I, it is not useful to you and I. Matter of fact, I never even pay attention to it, to be honest. I think, like Josh says, the time in sales. I think more importantly, volume within inside of a candle is important. Also, the delta of the candle is important, more so than anything else. The buy side is building. What product are you talking about? Corn, Joel? Robert, great question. So Robert says, with crude in the lower balance of 58.10 to 58.40, is 40 meaningful to you for well, I don't know if it's a possible short for me. There's got to be a little bit more than.
Did we lose JP there? Hello. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, thanks for Cox Cable, man. I just love it. So to finish my answer, I think for me, there has to be a little bit more there. But yes, it is a reference point. We want to see if sellers come back in that place, because that was an area where we were looking. It broke down. And then, of course, also, well, 20, they blew through 20 a little bit. Yeah. Now, if it fits your trade plan and says 40 on the pullback, by all means. Matter of fact, didn't quite get the 40, went to 38. I think another test at 40, I would ignore it personally, but that's just me. And it's Friday. We have to keep that in mind too. It's Friday. But at this point, Josh, I don't know what your thought of it.
Here they go. Boom.
Did they finally take it?
Finally broke it.
There they go.
Here we go.
So back to my answer. I mean, crude, I would be leaning short. I'm not going to trade crude at this point. There was one trade there for me today, but there's not right now. Josh, do you have anything else to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, only place I'd be interested yet today in crude would be if they could, if we can push up here to the open after having migrated the volume point control lower, man. So I'm short on that break of 52. I'm looking to add. Target is 73.12.
Aggressive today.
Well, yeah, and my risk is 67. So I'm defending VWAP here.
Yep.
But we've got good volume coming in. They broke through that support area they were flirting with.
Yeah, that was the first real selling
range. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on.
All right. So I will defend. Hold on. I will defend the open now, like a banshee, because we have larger time frame support we just broke, and like I said, it broke on volume. Very rarely will they just break it and then rip it right back through on volume. That's now the question is, will I get a pullback here? We got a new 30 now. Yep. We should maybe get a little bounce here on that 30.
Push back towards 55.
Yeah, I think that would be
up there. Kiss that.
Yep, and I'll defend that all day long, because now we have some, and of course they're not going to do it. Lovely, there they go. So it's going to be 2 for 2 for me today. It looks like. And they whipped that thing through there pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, 55 area. I'll even start 50 up to 55 and defend it. And there's going to be no chance I get this, I can tell you right now. So the algorithms have got it, guys. And so that means that I may not get a peek at this thing. So. Of course, did they? Yep, they did. Doggone it. Would you? Sure, Robert. Good question. All right, here's a little pullback. Let's see if they got enough gumption to get it up there. I got 28.50 that could get to here on this next push down. So if I get my price, I'll be loving life. Come on, boys. What's that?
Oh, don't pay attention to me.
Why not? All right, come on. Like asking a dog to come here. Come on, come on. You're struggling right in here. We may not see that open again on this push.
Okay, cool.
No, they're not going to do it for me, are they? They took some profit. Now, if we accept down here at the bottom, then we definitely have a great chance of seeing some new prices lower. So,
Okay. We're going to wrap it up here, and we've got to the top of our hour. Let's see if there's any. Looks like there's one more outstanding question here that I want to make sure. Oh no, that was just Robert saying thanks.
Any last questions as before we call it a day here?
Yeah.
And I go home with a big goose egg.
Why that is not.
Other questions?
Yep. Good. All right, let's
land the plane.
Let's land the plane, shall we? So some next steps. If you're looking for consistency in your trading, want to kind of spend some more time with us, I encourage you to take a free week with us in our trading community. We'll look at trading plans every day. We have about 5 hours of sessions, look at trade ideas and helping you build your playbook of trade. Also, follow us on Twitter, Trade with Prof. We've been Prof, because Trade with Profile was too long. And also, you can search us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Trade with Profile. We are now also on Instagram. It's just Trade with Profile. And if you ever have any questions or need any help, send an email to team@tradewithprofile.com or give us a call or text at that number. We'll be back again next week, a short week next week with the holiday, so everybody have a fantastic weekend. But we exist to help traders learn to profile, make better trading decisions, and take more profits. We hope that this has been a benefit for you. We'll see you next time.
All right, here.